Alright guys, welcome back to another episode here on Grow the Earth. Before we get started with our video today, I want to invite you to go and visit my other media pages. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're also on Rumble, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and I've also got a Facebook group. Now all these links are right here below me, and there are some things that if you're watching me on YouTube that you're not seeing if you're not visiting my other pages. Instagram, TikTok, and Rumble have all got extra videos that you're not seeing here. Also, if you are on Facebook, go join my Facebook page. We've got a bunch of different people there that can answer a bunch of questions for you. You know, you're able to actually have access to me directly to where you can ask me questions if you need to. And you can find all the information that you need to know to grow your garden better. So now let's get on with the video. Alright guys, well today we're going to be planting our broccoli. And just like our cabbage and our cauliflower, we're splitting this 20-foot long bed, and we're going to plant half of it with broccoli, and the other half is going to be Brussels sprouts. But when talking about broccoli, again, this kind of falls under the same thing as our cabbage and our cauliflower, you know, the stuff you've already seen, in that it is a very, very small seed. So, means that we're not planting these things very deep, just like our cabbage, just like our cauliflower. It's the same thing for the Brussels sprouts, is that these are all, normally these are seeded at the end of the growing season for next year. They don't have to be seeded by animals or other pests or birds or anything like that. These are just broadcast seeded by the plant itself. So they're very small seeds because they basically just fall on the ground, and then the plant itself kind of covers them as it dies. So when we plant here in our bed, we're not going to dig these things down like you would other plants. We're just going to barely put them underneath the surface, just like we did with our broccoli, our cauliflower, and our cabbage. And again, we have to keep these things moist. So if you don't have good weather rolling in, I say good weather good for planting, which means cloud cover and rain, then we have to mitigate that with a shade cloth, or even in some cases you can use, like with these raised beds, we can put a piece of wood across here. Just something to create some sort of shade to keep that moisture in the soil. But again, we have some rain moving in this week with a bunch of cloud cover, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about that too much. I think just a regular watering in the morning, possibly in the evening if we had a lot of sun that day, is going to do just fine and make these things germinate just fine. So again, just like with the other two, if these beds dry out, these will not germinate. You'll have very spotty germination if you don't keep enough water on these seeds. So we need to make sure that we do something, either through nature itself or through other means, to keep the moisture in the soil. So guys, with broccoli, of course, they've got to be spaced a certain amount, but the spacing on the back of the packages is a little excessive. It's meant for your commercial farmers. We're not commercial farmers. We can put them closer together because we can mitigate if they start getting too large, too compact. We can always just take some leaves off and make some room. So what we're actually going to do is, just like our cauliflower, is we're going to plant these in a zigzag pattern. That way we can get more plants in this smaller area. And it's also going to give us extra room, because with a zigzag pattern you actually gain space, which sounds kind of contradictory, but it works, I promise you. Alright guys, so we're going to plant here, and again, these things are just going to barely go right underneath the surface. We're not going to put these very deep. I've actually already marked out our where we're going to plant here, and I've actually used a little trick that if you want to know exactly what I did, you have to go over and either subscribe to my TikTok or my Instagram account, which if you, at the beginning of the video, I showed you what that was. So you go there, you're going to see the tip on what I did to mark these holes. And you know, you can go there for a lot more information, some information that you're probably not going to see on this channel. Little tips and tricks that are really going to help you out and that are going to make your life a lot easier when it comes to planting. So, a little bit more on broccoli. So, broccoli is actually just the opposite of cauliflower. Broccoli, whenever it starts putting on heads and you cut off that initial head, it will actually come back and put on more florets because it's trying to seed. This is also another reason we plant in the fall through the winter, because what spurs this plant to go to seed is heat. So usually around 70 degrees, which would be a normal spring temperature, is whenever these things will go to seed. And if we can keep that temperature below that, we don't have to worry about those florets popping seed. Secondly, just like our cauliflower, broccoli has more nutrition in the stems and the stems and the leaves than it actually does in the flower heads. So, whenever you're ready to knock that out of your bed when spring comes around, or if you know that you've got a really bad freeze coming and you're ready to pull your plants, go ahead and save that. The greens go great shredded in a salad. The stems you can cook just like you would your florets. I would, on that note, I would say make sure that you use more of the newer stems that are further up on the plant. The lower part is going to be really quite woody and hard. That's probably going to be more useful for your compost pile, you know, possibly chickens, things like that. But it's not going to be, it will eat, but the texture may be a little off for most people. It's not going to have the texture of broccoli at all. And also, if you're not ready to eat that much broccoli, you can freeze this stuff. Wash it, flash freeze it, put it in the freezer. It'll keep for months and months without having to blanch it or anything else. And one other thing for you guys, whenever you don't get rain for a little while, when you go to water these plants, and this goes for your cauliflower and your cabbage also, your Brussels sprouts, we don't want to water the leaves. Just like a tomato plant, we don't want to water leaves because that invites mold and mildew and all kinds of other things. Broccoli especially will hold water right where the leaves come to the stalk, and that will create issues for you. It will invite mold and mildew. It'll also invite pests because you've just made them a drinking hole. You know, you've made them a water fountain to where they can drink out of. So we want to water at the base of the plant to stave off any of that. Now a lot of people will argue, well, when it rains the water gets there. Well, yes, but you're not watering on it's not raining on a sunny day. Whenever it rains, it's usually overcast and cloud cover and things like that, and usually a little windy, and it will blow that water out of there, and it will not turn those little water droplets into magnifying glasses whenever the sun's out like it normally wouldn't be whenever it's raining. So we need to keep that in mind whenever we're watering. We want to water at the base of the plants and not water the foliage. Watering the foliage does absolutely nothing for the plant. The plant knows what the temperature is by the soil temperature. That's where its roots are, that's where its feelings are, that's where its temperature sensors are, it's in the root. So watering the plant is not going to cool it down, it's not going to help it at all. More than likely you're going to hurt it if you're watering the leaves. So we don't want to do that. So guys, this is going to be another video for us. As always, I ask you to pray over your family, pray over your garden, and have a great day.